So I have to say that I am super disappointed. I went to go see the Battle of the Five Armies, the new Hobbit movie, and that's how I feel about it. So fucking grumpy. So grumpy. I mean, if you like sitting through 3 hours of fight scenes with characters that you haven't been given a reason to care about, then this is definitely your kind of movie. But if you're a person who likes to at least have some kind of a story, then maybe see something different. I can count on one hand the things that I thought were good about this movie. 1. Martin Freeman's acting. He didn't have very many lines because nobody really did. They were too busy, like, slinging shit at each other. But he was really expressive in the times that he was on screen, as always. 2. Galadriel goes totally badass on Sauron, and the graphics are really cool, but also she acted the fuck out of it. She's amazing. Kate Blanchett. 3. The sets were visually stunning, of course. They always are. 4. There is this hilarious moment where Gandalf is sitting next to Bilbo, like, just cleaning out his pipe, and I started laughing. I'm like, I can totally relate. Gandalf, you're a huge stoner, because he's just, like, grinding into it, just, like, getting the gunk out, blowing into it, all the stoner tricks. I'm like, ah. And 5. During the attack on Lake Town, all of the women and children get, like, rushed off to this safe area, but the women of Lake Town are like, screw this, you know what? If our men can fight for our city, then we can fight for our city. So, like, the women get up and they, like, go out and start killing orcs. That was pretty cool. On the other hand, there was a lot about this movie that didn't work at all. First of all, I'm just gonna say it. Toriel, whatever the fuck that elvish bitch's name is, never existed in the real story, and she doesn't need to exist in this story. They tried to create this ridiculous love triangle between her and Legolas, who also is not in the original Hobbit story, and Keely, who she talked to for like 10 seconds on maybe 2 separate occasions, and then was like, oh, guess what, I'm in love with you. There were a lot of scenes and a lot of characters that didn't contribute anything to the story. Toriel, Legolas, most of the dwarves, even though they were in the original series, they just weren't given any sort of character at all in this installation. It focused a lot more on Fili, Keely, and Thorin, as well as the people from Lake Town, which brings me to Alfred, who also was a completely unnecessary character. The best thing that I can say about this movie as a whole is that it wasn't terrible. But coming from the legacy of Lord of the Rings and coming from someone who has a Lord of the Rings tattoo, this movie was a huge letdown. They didn't need to split it into 3 movies. They really could have taken half the bullshit out of the second one, half the bullshit out of the third one, squished it into one, and had something that was at least decent. But they decided to go for the money instead of for decent filmmaking, and this is what we get. This installation to me honestly feels like the Phantom Menace of the Lord of the Rings universe. Not pretty. Not pretty. And Peter Jackson, honey, your movies only need one ending. That's it. Beginning, middle, end. Basic storytelling. Not beginning, middle, end. He did the same shit that he did in Return of the King, only it was way more annoying because I wasn't invested in the story at all. At least in Return of the King, I was like, yeah, I want to see how all of these different characters' endings happen because I actually care about all of these different characters. But, you didn't have that in Hobbit. And sitting through 5 endings was something that almost made me walk out of the theater. So, Hobbit, Battle of Five Armies, I sadly give you 3 paws. Yeah, I just knocked that base over. Deal with it. Straight out of North Hollywood, I'm Valkyrie Spock. Valkyrie ran away. She was too upset to even face the camera today. So, hopefully I have better reviews for you later down the line. I'm going to be wearing black for the next week. Deuce.